It's the worst of the CBC for October 27th, 2019, the show where I watch the CBC so you don't have to. Okay, first things first, big thank you to everyone who watched the CBC, the global CTV, for me yesterday when I was unable to watch the mainstream media. So we're going to start off with the biggest omission. We'll do some ISIS later thoughts. But the biggest omission, and thank you everyone for watching yesterday, and I didn't see any today, is the fact that Justin Trudeau has already started his attack on opposition media, and the media isn't covering it. So if you haven't been following along with Canadian politics as related to the media, Justin Trudeau promised $600 million to mainstream media corporations to, in his words, legitimately preserve the independence of the media. Yes, we're going to nationalize the media to preserve its independence. Justin Trudeau. So I said on Uninterrupted right after first show after the election is the two things I said are the main things of this government is building and getting Trans Mountain approved and built, legitimately built, and to satiate the West and keep them in the Confederation. And two, one thing I identified as a major thing he's going to push for in this new government is the destruction of the independence of the media and the attempt to basically monopolize information. You see this be step one. Step one was buying off friendly media. Step one was to reward the Toronto Star and the CB and Global and CTV, the ones that are doing his bidding already, and also to entice, the ones like National Post, Toronto Sun. You're going to get some of this money too, to sort of bribe the ones who are a bit neutral. I mean, the Sun isn't on his side, but sort of have them be reliant on a cash influx. Then step two is to attack opposition media. So the Rebel and True North media. Now, I like True North media. I have my problems with Rebel media. We don't need to get into that now. But what I would never do to Rebel media is what Trudeau is doing to them now is I would never launch legal battles against them as the government. Like, think of how bad this would look. Think if Trump actually was suing the media. Think of how ballistic Canadian and American and mainstream media would go. How ballistic they would be, and rightfully so. Trudeau is suing opposition media right now. He's fighting True North media in court. He's fighting Rebel media in court to basically bar them from access to media events. So this is going to be the first thing is to he wants a ruling stating these journalists and these companies he doesn't like aren't real media. Then when we adds in new media standards, I guarantee you there's going to be a media standards clause. In his first omnibus bill, there's going to be something about the media in there. Now, thankfully, he is a minority, so he can't just push this through. But I could see this bill, first or second, if it has a lot of, either they'll tie it to energy to save the West, so the Conservatives have to vote for it or face Alberta, or they'll tie it to a lot of handouts to Quebec and some social justice stuff, so the Bloc are fine with it and the NDP are fine with it. Because the Bloc don't care about anything other than Quebec sovereignty or just Quebec. Basically, the Bloc, they're a Quebec nationalist party, or separatist party, I guess, Quebec nationalism, whatever. So the fact that the media didn't cover the fact that the government is taking the media to court is obscene. And it shows that the media's already failed. It's crumbled. It's now fake news. It's state media. All the media in Canada is now state media. So we're in for fight our lives. It means the score on the Rosemary Barton scale is a 10 out of 10. Automatic 10 out of 10 for not covering this. So the worst covered story is actually going to piggyback onto this. I was watching, they did the Sunday panel, that's what I had time to watch, and they were covering other things, and there's some bad stuff about Western alienation, some good stuff, some divisive stuff, but then as I was doing some work, Wendy Mesley's show came on later, and the first segment of Wendy Mesley's show, of her show on the CBC, was a coverage on Fox News. Basically, they called Fox News Trump's state media, and but they were actually covering the fact that Fox News anchors had actually criticized Trump on certain things, and Trump was angry. And is there a breakdown between the White House and basically trying to make the case that is Fox News state media and is this bad? This was being done on the Canadian official state media, and the fact that our government has just bought all the other media resources and he's suing them. So it was so tone deaf. It was so unbelievably tone deaf. But that's what Canadian left is right now. Heads in the sand to our own problems while pretending that all America's problems are our problems. It's really obscene. So that was the worst thing, is just pretending like this outrage over is Fox News state media on the Canadian state media while our prime minister is buying up the independent or the bigger independent medias and going against the ones that are critical of him. So absolute tone deafness there. Also, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi has died, or as Donald Trump has said, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, which has been in my head all day. So quick thoughts on him, and we'll cover this more on Wednesday. But, is this the end of ISIS? No. There's 150,000 terrorists it's the 1% of the 1%. Yes, if you say 1% of Muslims are radical Islamist terrorists, then it's 150,000 is the number you come up with there, which is about the standing power of the Roman legion. So he's dead, which is good because he's a terrorist. He's dead. Will this destroy ISIS? No, but this actually is a moderate propaganda blow to ISIS if he really is dead. ISIS sort of gained a lot of foreign recruiting strength over sort of gaining land, becoming this caliphate. Say, hey, look, we have this caliphate, come join. And a lot of radicalism has said, oh, they're the new caliphate, right? This caliph, this holy land. Let's go, sex slaves, beheadings, all that stuff. And when ISIS lost land, they did lose a lot of foreign recruitment. One, because it's harder to get in there. And two, you lose the luster. So the leader dying, and I do like Trump's rhetoric of he was crying like a dog. This is all good stuff. The loss of a leader, yes, there'll be ISIS, and hopefully there's some infighting. But this is a moderate propaganda blow, and this should serve to slightly curtail, not eliminate. This is a good step. We can't just pretend it's done now. This will slightly curtail foreign recruitment to ISIS, which is good. So that's it for today. Again, 10 out of 10 the Rosemary Barden scale. I will see you all tomorrow.